It's the time of year for a lot of celebrating, but we still need to keep in mind fire safety. So joining us today to help us out is Pasco County Fire Chief Sean Whited. Good morning. Happy holidays. So we're in the kitchen this morning, and you and I have been talking a lot before this segment started, and we need to start with the kitchen because unfortunately a lot of families, we gather in the kitchen.
We do.
We're busy in the kitchen, and then we're busy elsewhere, and we forget about what's going on in the kitchen, do we not?
Yes. So I know it's been preached for years about
but it happens
pots
every
and pans
year.
on the stove with the handle turned away from the, but just past Thanksgiving we had a little child that we had to send to a burn center for burns because it was, parents were cooking and someone wasn't paying attention and that pot got pulled down on top of that child.
So it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, so I mean we're still, to this day preaching the fire safety.
People need to be reminded because we're all guilty of it as busy parents and again family. We always think someone else is watching the kids.
Yeah. Thousands of people in the kitchen running around.
The oven, you say.
The oven. So we get a lot, this time of year we respond to a lot of fire calls for fires in the kitchen, and we get there and it's just stuff as like we see here in this oven. Our oven's not very clean. We even have some food back over there. Some grease over here. That's what's going to catch fire, especially with your ovens with the element on the bottom. That's going to heat up and catch fire, and it's going to smoke a lot, and it's going to cause us to come out, and we're going to get there and just see that it's an oven fire. The easiest thing to fix that, turn it off.
All right. Now, when we're putting out fires in the kitchen, though, that's probably important to remind people, too, what you need to use to put out fires.
Yeah, kitchen fires, I mean, if it's something on the stovetop you want to use, you want to smother it, a pot lid.
Okay.
Don't use a towel because a towel's going to catch fire, too.
Water?
Well, it depends. If it's a grease fire, you don't want to use water. The best thing is something that's going to smother it. Flour, even sugar.
Okay.
Something that's just going to smother that flame out and then call us to come out
right away
and make sure that it's out. Yes, we don't mind coming out and making sure.
Okay.
We'd rather be safe than sorry.
Let's get to the toys, and I think this is so interesting, kind of a, in trend with 2017. Let's talk about drones, which I know you say people need to really be careful about.
Yeah.
And hoverboards. These again are hot toys, but you're still running calls on injuries with these.
Yeah.
What's the biggest issue?
The hoverboards, with your hoverboards, you're looking at fractures from people falling off those hoverboards and head injuries from falling off those hoverboards and hitting the concrete.
So helmet, use a helmet even with hoverboards.
Yeah, and helmets are age appropriate. So this one is 8 and above. So if you have a 15-year-old, you want to be buying them an 8-year-old helmet. This is an all-purpose helmet, so for all sports, skateboarding. So if Santa's bringing a hoverboard, Santa also needs to bring a helmet. They need to go hand in hand. All helmets come with these little bag of straps and adjustable things. These aren't just to be taken off and thrown away. These actually are, so if this helmet doesn't fit properly, you can use some of these additional padding in there to make that helmet fit. So helmets are very important this time of year. Address drones, because I think most importantly, parents need to know they need to supervise their children if they are using them. These aren't just toys for kids to use. Sitting on the floor, a drone looks pretty cool. The blades are real soft and pliable, but once those blades start moving and stuff, just a finger in there, that will slice your finger. You said you've actually answered calls where we have answered calls where lacerations. Yeah, one drone hit a guy in the head and split his head open. He got a couple stitches up there. You said power lines. When you're outside with these things, you want to make sure you're not under the power lines and you're sending that thing into the power lines and causing either that power line to come down or damage to your drone. I'm sure you don't want to ruin your drone. Last but not least, as we're almost out of time, you brought these things. These are all examples of choking hazards. Choking hazards, So you want to make sure that you have 2 small children. I do. You want to make sure that if you get something for the older one, that it's somewhat age appropriate for the younger one also, but if it's not age appropriate for the younger one, that you take kind of an inventory of all the parts and pieces so that if your daughter's playing and your son happens, something's missing and your son's over there chewing on something, hopefully it's not something that's in one of these toy kits. On these toys here, I don't know if you can see it here, but it says the age limit? The age limit. That's actually a warning. It's not a recommendation. So the toy companies actually. Use them seriously. Yeah, I mean, so puzzles also. We brought a puzzle here. Puzzles are, this is a 1,000-piece puzzle in this little box, so you can imagine how small those pieces are, right? So. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning. I know you guys are busy this time of year, but yes, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and thanks so much. We appreciate you being here this morning. Have a safe holiday, everybody.